Hello amigos, ¿cómo están? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Chivas. It's kind of like a post-mortem of the season. It's a video that I've deliberately put off for a few days. When the Atlas game happened, when that was done, I was super raging, to be honest with you. And I don't like to rant and rage and moan and bitch too much on these videos. I know that in some weird way, if I did do that, it'd probably get me a little bit more views, because that's just how the internet is and social media. But I try not to. I don't want to be known as a guy that rants and raves and swears and shouts on camera and talk about football. I do that in the pub, obviously, with my friends, but during the games as well. But in these kind of videos, I kind of want to try and still have a little bit of a positive spin on it. And whether you guys like that or not, I'm not sure. I mean, I think you do, but it's just something that I want to do kind of like in a healthy kind of way. It's given me a few days to kind of really sit down and analyse Chivas, what went wrong, the whole season. I mean, it was such a turbulent season. In general, I mean, Hierro leaving obviously way back when, but Gargo dropping out, dipping out halfway through the season, killed our season, really. The one thing I did tweet out after the Atlas game, because I even tweeted out, like, I'm not going to talk too much about it, is the amount of hate that Arturo Ortega was getting from the Chivas fans. Calling him all kinds of names. Look, at the end of the day, he was an employee for Chivas anyway. When Gargo left, it was painfully obvious that we weren't going to go and bring in a top coach midway through a season. It was just not possible. Maybe there were a couple of people that I don't know that were maybe available and we didn't get. I don't know, but for me, we were never ever going to get a big coach to come in and replace Gargo. And it was always going to be, someone from within the club being an interim coach. And he was probably the best pick. He's a youth coach. He was coaching for Tapatio. He was kind of like the go-to guy, I think, for the interim role. It's just, Chivas is such a stressful job. It's stressful being a fan. I don't know what it would be like being a coach of a Chivas. And it's a step up, and I think it was a step up slightly too far for him for his career at this point in time. I think he was a decent coach. I think he did all right, but getting out the best out players, the lineups were sometimes a little bit dodgy. The substitutions were a little bit dodgy. You could just tell it was a bit of a slump between when he joined and then obviously losing against Atlas. We'd have the odd good game, but most of the time it was a bit of a stretch, a bit of a difficult time, and we lost a couple of games we shouldn't have lost. I just think it was a step up too much for him at this point in time. He's still super young. I think he's going to go on and have a really good career. I hope he does. He's left now. There's no way we could have kept him on, and there's no way he could have stayed. So he left. But I think treating him so badly online is just does him and does the club and the fan base a disservice. Like, it's not his fault Gargo dropped ship and left. Dipped out and left when he did. Gargo's having a terrible time with Boca Juniors, by the way. I told you that he shouldn't have left. He hadn't done anything to prove himself at Chivas to go manage a club like Boca Juniors. And like I said, we weren't having a great season with Gargo, to be honest with you. We had a couple of embarrassing results with him as coach. And he was supposed to be the guy that was going to come in and take over from Paunovic. Paunovic knew what he was doing. Towards the end, it kind of fizzled out, and it kind of got a little bit toxic towards the end, mainly because Vega and all that stuff. But there's such a marked drop-off between Paunovic and Gargo. It's unreal. Gargo is just too young, too inexperienced. It could have gone well. For me, his team selection was, again, like, Yael Padilla is a massive example. Why did he not play Yael Padilla? Like, Arturo, at least he brought Padilla in. At least he brought Padilla in. He cemented Armando Gonzalez's place in the first 11, in the starting team as well, because Marin and Cheech were injured at one point. So I don't blame Arturo at all. I think he did the best he could in the circumstances. It's not his fault that Gargo left. It's not his fault that we've got the players that we have, and I'll talk about the players in a minute because everyone's talking about players that should leave and should stay and we should get. And I'll talk about that in a minute because I have real strong opinions on that. But where I think Arturo went wrong was his team selection. Overly reliant on Marin at times. Overly reliant on Chicharito. Chicharito for me shouldn't have started against Atlas. Shouldn't have started any game really, especially after coming off of an injury. He shouldn't have started. Should have come off the bench at least. Chicharito as well. I mean, we have to talk about him in a minute as well. I mean, we brought him in almost a year ago now, and it was epic presentation, epic deal. Every single Chivas fan, I think, bar a couple of weirdos, wanted Chicharito to come back to Chivas. Even me. I mean, of course I do. I've got his name on the back of my shirt for goodness sake, but at the time, I remember telling you, and I think I've got video proof to prove it. Like, he shouldn't be starting. He shouldn't be our main striker. He shouldn't be the striker. For me, it was more about impact sub, and his impact on the locker room. I mean, even for Armando Gonzalez in particular, you just tell the interactions that they have on camera anyway. You tell they've got quite a good strong bond. When they've subbed each other out, he always gives Armando a little bit of a pep talk and stuff and hyping him up. Like, for me, as a Mexican, well, not as a Mexican, but if I was a Mexican striker, a young striker, 20 years old, there's literally no one on this planet that I would rather have mentor me and give me advice than Chicharito Hernandez. Like, the guy's done it all. Apart from winning the World Cup, obviously, but in terms of club, he's done it all. He's won everything with Man United. He's won the Champions League. I think he won the Champions League with Madrid. Played for Real Madrid, for God's sake. He's a top player. He's just not at it now. He's too old now. We can't be too blunt, but obviously too reserved about saying that. He is old now. He's past his prime, way past his prime. He's a significant injury away from retiring. I think he's close to retiring anyway. So for me, when we got him in, it was great to have him in. But for me, he was never gonna be that main striker that we needed. I think Armando Gonzalez is going to come in and do that, to be honest with you. So yeah, I didn't want to blame Arturo Gonzalez. Not Arturo Gonzalez, Arturo Ortega, should I say. I don't want to blame him. It's not his fault. He got dropped into a situation that he wasn't ready for. Like, you can't blame him for that. He did the best he could. And he almost got us to Ligia. He very, very, very nearly got us into Ligia. We should never have been losing to Atlas at home anyway. Whoever the coach is, by the way, we should never ever be losing a game to Atlas, especially a one-off game that we needed to win. The referee was a little bit dodgy in this game, but overall, it was up to us to win it, and we didn't. So this brings me on to the players. Like I said, we've been on the verge of a generational change at Chivas for a little while now. Players that we've kept on too long, players that we need to bring in. For me, obviously, Kene Brizuela, absolutely, I love the guy. He's one of my favourite Chivas players ever. But I do recognise that the time is up now, I think. This season he's been a bit part impact sub. He started one or two games that I feel like he shouldn't have done, to be fair. But I feel like, having him on the bench, coming on to see out games is not a bad thing. But, I think he's at the point now. I thought he was going to retire, but apparently he's going to be loaned out to play one more season or something. I don't know. I think he's going to lay on, but that's just a rumour. For me, that's good for us and for him. It frees up a spot in our squad, and also it's good for him because he's probably going to start playing. Pretty much anyone below Tigres, America, Cruz Azul maybe, outside of all them playing teams, you say that he's probably got a good start of playing more for any other team in the league. So kudos to him, that's cool. But for me, like Carlos Cisneros, Antonio Briseño, I love Pollo Briseño, I love his passion, but I think the team's past him now. And he proved it in the Atlas game. For me, that was his last chance, and he blew it. And I think it's just like, well, okay, enough's enough now. We have to start phasing some of these older players out. I mean, Cisneros has had plenty of chances at Chivas. It just hasn't worked. I think it's time for him to move on as well. Oscar Wally. And also, I'd include Ricardo Marin in that. He surprised me this season. He scored way more goals than I thought he was going to. But he's still not the level. He's not a level raiser. He's not a ceiling raiser for Chivas. And I think he needs to leave for himself as well as for us. Wally in particular needs to leave. I think he barely played for us this season. Tyler Rangel was 1000% our best goalkeeper. He's our best player, I think. For this season anyway, I think Tyler Rangel was our best player. On the verge of breaking into El Tri. Malagon's obviously going to be number one for a little while, but I think Rangel's not that much far off from Malagon, to be honest with you. And I think in a year or two, I think we'll see Rangel play a lot more for El Tri, providing that, he stays healthy and fit. Wally needs to leave, and who to bring in? A lot of Chivas fans are going to say, look, we need to spend this money, we need to buy this player, buy this player, buy this player. Look, I would love Chivas to go buy loads of these players. They're players that we link to that we never get. But I feel like we need to look within. We need to look at Tapatio. Tapatio, congratulations, felicidades to them, by the way. They won their league again. Eduardo Garcia, the guy that I've been going on and on and on about, Dragon. Brilliant goalkeeper for them. He's got 2 league titles with Tapatio now. What more does he have to do to at least get into the squad for Chivas? I would say he's better than Wally. I think everyone would say that he's better than Wally. He's way younger. He's got way more of a ceiling. He's done enough to prove himself that he's ready and is good enough to be in Chivas' first team. So he's my first pick. Without a doubt, let Wally go, bring Eduardo Garcia in. Obviously, Rangel's going to play the bulk of the games, but Garcia is good enough to play for Chivas, in my opinion. And if we're not, then at least we'll try and maybe loan him out without an option to buy, obviously. Loan him out for a season, get him first team experience. But I would have him at Chivas. I'd rotate Rangel more. I'd rather rotate Rangel more with Garcia than I would with Wally. And the next obvious one is Terry Wilker. I mean, the kid scored. I think he's got the goal. I think he's got the golden boot for Tapatio this season. If not, he's got most goals for Tapatio. Again, what more does he have to do? Obviously, he was in the squad a couple of times at the end of this season for Chivas, but I'd say I'd rather see Wilker come on for Chivas off the bench for Chivas I'd rather see Wilker do that than Marion. To be honest with you, I'd rather see Armando start games and then Wilker come off the bench. Why can't we do that? Chicharito, no matter what happens with Chicharito, I think his time at Chivas is very, very, very limited now. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved into a coaching role or upstairs or somewhere in the club. But I think his game time now should be very limited. I think he's got a year left before he retires, to be honest with you, at max. Marin needs to be gone. At least I'd sell him, to be honest with you. I mean, I know some people that I rate Marin when he does well, but he just doesn't do it enough. And if we've got a player that's going to score every once in a while, then I'd rather be Wilco, because at least then we're developing him. Marin's already reached his ceiling. He's not going to get any better. I think he could do better for a team like San Luis, for example. I mean, having said that, San Luis is in Liga, we're not, so maybe not. But having said, at the end of the day, there are players that are ready in Tapatio to be in the first team. They're all 22, 23 years old. They're all good enough to be playing for us. I think we need to build a team that's built around the youth. Yael Padilla, Armando Gonzalez need to be starting games. If we're going to sell Cade Carroll to PSV, sell him. Get as much money as we can. Maybe get a replacement in. But I don't think we need a replacement. We've got Piojo Alvarado. I don't think he's going to leave. Got Padilla. We've also got Benjamin Sanchez as well from Tapatio. Mateo Chavez needs to be playing for Chivas now. For me, he made a couple of mistakes when he first started, sure, but he's 22, whatever he is. He's going to. Defenders take more time than most to get to their prime. Why can't we just start making the team younger again? Obviously, Mozo is our best right back. Tiba and Chiquete right now are our best centre backs. Chiquete for me needs to go to Europe. So if he does go to Europe, I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I will have a problem if we sell him to another Liga MX club though, or an MLS club. That I would have a problem with. That would be an unforgivable act from the club in my opinion. If we sell him to Europe, I don't mind. I'll be happy for him to go. It's about time that we start shipping our best players to Europe. Yes, it would be nice to win the league with these guys, but at the end of the day, if all we're doing is developing really, really good players and then shipping them to Europe and where they can have somewhat decent careers, hell yeah, I'll take that. Like, it's better than nothing. Better than what we've been doing anyway. Just have players like Chavez and Tion Wilker in and Luis Ray, all the players I've mentioned, Benjamin Sanchez as well. Like, we got real work to do this off season. We need to get rid of some of these players now, and bring some of these Tapatio players in. And for me, that would be enough. Even if we brought in 3 or 4 or 5 players from Tapatio into the first team, and we start playing them regularly, and we don't buy anyone, that for me is enough for now. That's fine. If we're going to struggle to reach Ligia, if we're going to struggle to get good and get to a place where we can start winning trophies, I'd rather be playing kids. I'd rather be playing young players that have got absolute quality, that have won the league with their youth teams, and develop them and use that time to develop them into really good players again. We're starting to supply the Mexican national team with players again, which is nice. Chiquete is going to be a starting centre back sooner rather than later. Tyler Angel is going to be number 1 for Mexico sooner or later. You can laugh at that if you like, but it's true. So it's just facts. And why not more? Armando Gonzalez, you have to look at him and go, he's a top player. He could be a really top player in the future. Gael Padilla as well. Mateo Chavez. Even Teo Wilker. You look at him play and you think, this kid's really good. Like, we need a good striker. It's not rocket science. But, for me, this off-season is incredibly important. There's changes in the backroom staff. There's obviously, we got to get a new coach from somewhere. Everyone's got their opinions on them. I'm not gonna participate in rumours of coaches. We'll get whoever we get, and I'll react to whoever we get. But yeah, whoever we get needs to look at the team and make some really tough decisions. Tough decisions that Gargo never made, or Paunovic even made, for one thing. We need to start letting a lot of players go. And not the best players. I don't want to see Alvarado leaving. I don't want to see Mozo leaving. I don't even want to see Pocho Guzman leave. A lot of Chivas fans like to have scapegoats. When Vega left, I tweeted out and I put in the video, I wonder who the next scapegoat is going to be. And lo and behold, it's Pocho Guzman. He hasn't been used right. Gago had no idea how to use Pocho Guzman. Pocho did well for Paunovic for a while, but even then, Paunovic kind of, I don't know, there was some off the field issues. I think Pocho told Paunovic to fuck off or something. But I think if we can get a decent a top coach in that knows how to play players, I think Pocho is going to be a really good player for us. He should never have been given up the captaincy. That as well, I think, has knocked his confidence. I don't want to see another Vegas situation where we get rid of him and he does well. Vegas killing it with Toluca. Toluca's killing it. They may end up winning the Liga. I don't want to see that with Pocho. I know that's gonna be what happens with Pocho. We just want to give it another go. Another coach to come in and hopefully get the best out of him, play him in the position that he's good at. For me, it's the number 10. For other people, it's different positions, but I think that's what he's best at. So, yeah, it is what it is. We've got a massive... We do so well under Paunovic, man. We took 3 or 4 good steps forward. We had Hierro as well. We were bringing in a couple of good players. It's just gone wrong. And hopefully we can start sorting it out. I don't have that much confidence now, to be honest with you, that Chivas can actually get that done. Amauri, he's the owner. I don't think he's going to sell. It makes him too much money. Could he do more? has he not put enough money? I don't think throwing money at the situation is going to make much difference, to be honest with you. Unless we buy some really smart, do it in a smart way is what I'm trying to say. But for me, like at the very least, bring some of these Tapatio guys in, get rid of some of these dead wood. I love, with all due respect to the players, but they are dead wood now. They are players that we just don't use, that are not gonna make us better. Don't impact the team in a positive way. Just move them on now. Bring some of the Tapatio players in. Start really playing some of these youngsters, man. I mean, it's just such an obvious solution. And if we're gonna suck, I'd rather suck with the load of 22-year-olds that are still developing their game and getting them loads of game time. But anyway, I don't want to watch too much more, guys. Let me know what you think about Chivas season. Gargo, Hierro leaving obviously before that. Who the next coaches is. What's your opinion on Arturo Ortega? What's your opinion on Pocho and all the other players that I mentioned? What's your opinion on Tapatio? Do you think we should buy some players? If so, who? Which players do you think we should get? For me, it's just so obvious, man. Tapatio players are right there. Just bring them into the first team. They're as good as the players that we have right now, especially the squad players. Why not bring them in? Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys watching this season. I really do appreciate it. The views of this season has been epic. The comments as well has been awesome. Considering it's been a bit of a negative season, really overall, it's been pretty positive here for this community. So really appreciate every single one of you guys. Hopefully you stick around for the next season, because I don't plan on stopping these videos. Again, when we release a new third shirt, which I think is going to be in a couple of weeks, I'll do a video on that, because I do have an opinion on that. I will get it, obviously. I do all my videos in the third shirts. This should be my third year running. So and obviously if we make any signings, if the coach gets signed or whatever, I'll do videos as and when. But as of right now, I'll probably see you guys in the new year. So if I don't see you guys, have a good rest of the 2024. Have a good break from the football anyway. I'll see you guys next year, and hopefully we can start, rebuilding our legacy, I guess, and rebuilding our effect on Mexican football, and start competing for Liga again. So anyway, guys, take it easy, take care, and I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.